Hello, everybody. Gage says it's empty. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. I know this is going to be a big treat. Everything that the Lost Abbey does is pretty damn tasty. And anytime you see a bottle with a cork and a cage on top of it, usually means it's a pretty special beer. Parrish sent me this, so thanks Parrish for sending the beers that you do send. You are an awesome friend, awesome subscriber, and I do consider you my beer brother. Guys, Rate Beer evidently, I usually use Beer Advocate and Rate Beer to give you some of this information that I spew out on these beer reviews. And a lot of times one of the side or the other will be down. And right now, Rate Beer is having diarrhea on the website. So it can't hook up, can't give me any information on this beer. So is what it is. Beer Advocate seems to be working, so we're going to go with the information that these guys have got since Rate Beer is not operational tonight. So this is considered an American double or imperial stout, coming in at 11% according to them. It has got 11% on the label here too, so we are correct. It says brewed and bottled by the Lost Abbey, San Marcos, California. So, and I'm a big stout fan. It says here, their commercial description on Beer Advocate says, the history of the Bible and religion is indeed the struggle of good versus evil. Our Serpent Stout recognizes the evil of the dark side that we all struggle with. This is a massively thick and opaque beer that begs the saints to join the sinners in their path to a black existence. And it's got something different here on the label. From the beginning of time is so decreed from thee this tree of knowledge, you shall not eat this fruit. Soon enough the serpent slithered through the garden. So we already know who we're talking about there. Slithered through the garden and convincing Eve to taste the nectar from the forbidden fruit. Once bitten and shamed, she then tempted Adam to together. Their actions brought original sin upon our world. Discontent to rest on his laurels, the serpent continued his cunning ways, bringing forth more temptations. Ultimately, he foisted upon the world his own Serpent Stout, a liquid so dark and vicious that all who tasted soon fell victim to its evil incarnate. Some turned to false prophets seeking advice. None of it mattered. Each struggle revealed the battle between good and evil. And now you are holding a bottle of this liquid. It is certain he has tempted even you. So welcome to our darker side of life, home to the Serpent Stout, original sin, and the tastiest beers known to man. Well, tooting their own little horn there, if you will. So a lot of the brewers will do that, and Stone is famous for that. And I don't know what it is about the California brewers, but they seem a little on the arrogant side, and a lot of them are justified. They make some pretty damn tasty stuff. So let's go over to the food pairings for this one, guys. It says here the cheese is a buttery brie gouda Havarti Swiss, and since it is a stout, it goes well with your chocolate dishes. And the meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware, pint, Becker-Nonic, tumbler style mug or oversized wine glass and the snifter. I got the double glass here, guys. And it says can be cellared for long periods under the proper conditions. Being an 11%er, this is going to keep for years and years and years, guys. It will. So, but we're not going to keep this one. We're going to pop the cage and the cork and get it into the glass. So what I'm doing is, I will say thanks again, Parrish, my brother. I do appreciate you sending me these wonderfully awesome beers from California. Ooh, this is wanting to come out. I hope it don't spew all over the place. This has only been in the fridge about an hour or so. So it's not going to be down to the 40-degree normal temperature that most of my beers are. It's probably down around 60 degrees, 55. So this should be an optimal temperature for drinking a stout. Wow, what a big hiss on that. I was expecting it to come rolling out, but it did not. Wow, what a pop on that. That was like champagne. 11%. Let's go down the center. That might be a mistake. With that much pop on the cork, it's fairly well carbonated. That head is so creamy looking. It's almost like pouring yogurt down on top of the beer. Wow. Wow. Look at that. And this is a great big bottle. This is the humongous bottle. I think it's a 750. 1 pint, 9.4 fluid ounces. So, big bottle, big pop, big beer. That pour give us every bit of 3 fingers of head. And it is so creamy and almost, like I said, it looks like a tan yogurt on top of the beer. Wow, very impressive. Over into the light, there is none. It is pitch black, guys. Black as a serpent's eyes. Alright, let's get a nose on this and see what we got. If I can smell it through this 3 inches of head here. Ooh, chocolate, coffee, roasted malt, some dark fruit are in there, dates, raisins, figs, maybe a hint of tobacco. Might be a good one to fire up a cigar. I might jerk out one of the Gurkhas, maybe the Titan. It's got a nice oily wrapper on it. That might go very well with this, guys. Wow, that smells so good. Only way that could smell any better if it had been put in bourbon barrels. Wow, that's got an awesome smell to it. So let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Parrish. Thank you, sir. Let's get it on. Wow, that's good. Just a slight hint of the alcohol, 11%. But there's so much going on with this beer. This would be an excellent beer to put in the cellar. And a lot of people, I mean, I had a guy ask me the other day, what did he say? Celery? I'm not saying celery. I'm saying cellaring. Put it in the cellar. Cellar. Somewhere cool and around 70 degrees, between 55 and 70 degrees. And cellar it. Keep it for a while. That's what cellaring means. Store it. Not celery. We're not having celery. So I just want to clarify. When you hear me say a good one to cellar, that's not celery. That's put it somewhere and keep it for a while in a cool, temperature controlled area between 55 and 70 degrees. Don't put it in a hot closet. I mean, if your house is air conditioned and your closet stays around 70 degrees, that would work fine. If you put it in your basement and your basement stays a constant temperature above 40 degrees, you wouldn't want to have this somewhere in a freezer or somewhere where it's going to be below freezing. You wouldn't want to cellar it at that temperature. Somewhere between 55 and 70 degrees. And 11%er, this beer is going to keep 10, 15, even 20 years, guys. So this is a very tasty beer, and it's going to get more complex over time. Like I said, this was not at 40 degrees. This is probably around 55 or 60. And it is awesome. I don't think I've had a bad beer from the Lost Abbey. Those guys got it going on out there. And I don't think they're dating their stuff. I don't see anything on the bottle, but it does not matter for an 11% stout, Imperial Stout. It's basically irrelevant. I would like to see a year on it, but beggars can't be choosers. I don't see anything on the bottle, so it'd be nice to know what year it was produced. That's the only thing I'm saying there. But anyway, let's let this warm up and fire up a stogie and sip on it for a while and share the other half of this bottle with the other half. She's so deserving. Where she works, they've been working her butt off 10, 12 hours a day, 6 and 7 days a week. Love her to death. I'll be right back and we'll do the final chug on this one, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this probably about 30 minutes and enjoy that Gurkha Titan cigar. This is pretty impressive. It's damn tasty, guys. The roasted malt, the caramel and toffee and dark fruit, along with the coffee and chocolate are all coming out now that it's warmed up. Well, like I said earlier, the only way this could be any better was bourbon barrel aged, and they do make a version of this that's bourbon barrel aged. I'd love to try that. But for a non-bourbon barrel aged beer, it's pretty damn awesome. The only thing I could fuss about is them not putting a year on the bottle. And they could do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Lost Abbey is a big enough brewery that they could put right on the back label 2014 or 2013 or whatever the year that is produced. And I see no evidence of that anywhere. So. And of course, being an 11% stout, it's not that critical, but I would like to see them make that effort and put it on there somewhere. What year? We don't need the month, we don't need the day, just like to see the year on these type of beers. So that way you know when it's put in a bottle, and if you want to have it 5 or 10 years down the road, you know how old the beer is. Even buying it in the store, if it doesn't have a date on it, how are you going to know how old the beer? It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old when you buy it. So how are you going to know that? So I'd like to see them step up to the plate and on this style of beer, at least put a year on it so we'll know. Final chug. Wow. Delicious. Delicious beer. Wow, the alcohol is so well hidden. Such a well-made beer. It's awesome, guys. It is awesome. To me, and I say this a bunch of times, this is a 10 beer in a 9 bottle. I say that a lot of times on the stouts. I mean on the IPAs and the double IPAs. When we don't have the information that we need. And it's got most of the information, but I would like to see the year. So you'll know exactly when this beer was put in the bottle. If it had the year on the label somewhere, or digitized, or written on the bottle somewhere, I would probably give this beer a 10. I really would. But not having that little bit of information, I'm going to give it to 9. 9 out of 10. 10 beer in a 9 bottle. I say that a lot, but that's how I feel about it, guys. Your IPAs and your double IPAs and your low ABV beers need to have a month, day, and a year. So we'll know exactly when it was put in the bottle. On the stouts, it's not that critical that we know the month and the day, but I would like to see them put the year on it. Come on, guys. Don't make me fucking slap you. It's not that big a deal for you to print that on the bottle or on the label somewhere. And I know the breweries say, well, we sell everything we make. We do this, we do that. It's on the case, it's on the 6-pack, it's on that horse hockey. Print it on each bottle or can if you're doing cans, especially in this style, at least the year that it was put in the bottle or the can. I'm not going to quit harping about this, guys, until each and every one of the breweries do this. It's not that big a deal. As far as I'm concerned, the dating process is just as important as the brew kettle. Not as important on this style of beer, because like I said, it's going to keep for years and years and years, but how are you going to know how old it is if it doesn't have a year on it? Bottom line, guys, we need the year on this. 10 beer in a 9 bottle. No date. We don't need the month. We don't need the day. We just need a year on this type of beer so we know what vintage it is. I mean, when you buy a bottle of wine, it has the vintage on it. 99.9% of them have the vintage on it. If you're going to produce this style of beer, put the vintage on it. This is a 2012. This is a 2013. This is a 2014. This is a 2015. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It really is not that hard. You just need to step up to the plate, guys. Lost Abbey, I love you guys. You'll make some awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. But, you get that little but at the end of it. Somebody likes the but at the end of it, but the but is put the year on the style. Somewhere on the bottle or on the label. Bottom line, guys. So, with that being said, it looks like we've got Great Beer has finally woke up and they're operating again. So I don't know. A lot of times they do server updates and this, that, and the other. One reason or the other why the site's not up. But anyway, when I come back and did the final chug, the site was up. So we do have their ratings. So 9 for me on this particular one because it doesn't have the vintage on the bottle, so we know what year it was produced. Parrish, thanks again, brother. It's not when I say this about the beers, no matter what beer it is from whoever sends it to me, if it's a IPA or a double IPA and it doesn't have the year, date, and month on it, it is no reflection on the people that send me these beers. They can't control that. I mean, they buy them just like I do at the beer store or the brewery or wherever it comes from, and wherever they decide to pick it up from, and they send it to me, and they have no control over that. None. Absolutely none. Because it's not written on the bottle, how are they to know? I mean, you can go to the brewery and they'll say, oh, I picked this up at the brewery. Well, we haven't produced this beer in a year. We're getting ready to do it next month and release it again. If you don't know that information, how, you know. Long story short, low ABV beers, IPAs, double IPAs, month, day, and year is required. Required. You hear me? Re-fucking-quired. If you're doing a stout, imperial stout, or something that can be cellared for a long period of time, the year is required. Absolutely required. We have to put the year on these type of beers. Even though they cellar for 10, 15, 20 years, put the vintage on it so we know when it was put in the bottle if we want to have it 5 years down the road with, oh, this is a 5-year-old bottle. Even if you go to the beer store and you buy this, how are you to know how old the beer is when you buy it if it has no vintage on it? So, guys, I stand on that soapbox proudly, and I hate to see we have to pass a freaking law that you have to put a date on each individual can or bottle to do that, but it may have to come to that because some of y'all that produce these kind of beers or produce craft beers, which are delicious, choose not to do that. Why? 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 I don't understand that. If I was a brewer, that would be my goal, to have that information on there so you would know. And I know why you do not. And I say this all the time because it extends the shelf life. On something like this, it's not that critical. Like I said, it's going to keep for 10 to 15, 20 years, but how are you going to know what vintage it is? Would you go in and buy a loaf of bread that didn't have a date on it? Would you buy a gallon of milk not knowing how old it is? Why would you buy a low ABV beer or an IPA or even a double IPA not knowing how old it is? Beats the dog shit out of me. I have no idea. So until everybody that produces a craft beer steps up to the plate and does the dating whether it's a vintage on this style of beer, or a month, day, and a year on an IPA or double IPA or an ABV beer, I'm gonna harp on it. I'm gonna keep cutting you, and you're gonna lose a grade point every time you do it. Even though it's an awesome beer, and it blows my hair back, and my socks off, and my underwear off, and everything off. I'm sitting there freaking naked. It's still required. It's required. It is. So I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. 9 out of 10 for me. Had a vintage on it, it would be a 10 beer. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 94 in the outstanding range. I think it's better than that. If I was putting a score on this one, a numeric score, it would be 98 or 99. It's that close without the vintage on it. If it had a vintage on it, it would probably even get the 100 from me. So, over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 100 overall and 97 in the style. I'm not going to go to the 100 scale without a date on the bottle. I don't give a damn what style of beer it is. If you do not have a vintage on an Imperial Stout, you're not going to get to 100 from me. You're not gonna do it. Not gonna happen. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture, as the man said in the White House a couple of years ago, many years ago. But it's got to happen, guys. It's got to happen. These guys. It's not just about producing a beer. It's about dating your beer that you produce. It's not about dating your beer. It's not about the beer you produce. It's about dating the beers that you produce. So, with that being said, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. This is an awesome beer. If you can get your hands on the Lost Abbey Serpents Stout, it's definitely worth picking up. Definitely worth picking up. It is awesome. If you can go to the brewery and pick one up, then you know it's fresh. You know, if you can grab the brewer or somebody that knows something there and grab their shirt collar and jerk them up like this and go, when was it produced? If you lie to me, I'm going to kill you. Do it. I mean, it's gotta be done. It's got to be done. And I'm not going to stop harping about it until it happens, guys. So, enough rant on this beer. Don't want this to be a 25-minute video. I've been producing, and my New Year's resolution was not to do these 20-minute videos, but I've been doing a couple of those over the last week or so because of the beers I've been reviewing. It's been pretty damn awesome, and this probably will end up being a 20-minute video too. But I have to rant. I have to vent that frustration when there's no effort made to put a vintage on this style of beer or a month, day, and a year on the low ABV beers and the IPAs and stuff. It chaps my ass. It chaps my freaking ass. So, you're going to hear it. I'm going to say it. It's not going to be done until everybody does it. So, if we got to pass a law, I hate to say that, but there's enough freaking laws on the books already, but maybe we need to. Maybe we need to pass a law where you got to put something on the bottle or the label, where you cannot release it until it has some kind of dating on it. I hate to say that, because like I said, there's enough laws already controlling everybody. But if you're spending your hard-earned money, you work at Walmart and you make minimum wage, why would you go spend your money on a bottle of beer you don't know how old it is? So, enough said. Do it, guys. Do it. All right. Enough rant. Ease, calm. Let's go check and see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.